Welcome to the Tulip Queen Pageant Virtual Edition. We are so glad that you've agreed to join us. I'd like to take a moment to remind you of the positives. You are home. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to social distance. And you don't have to use hand sanitizer. So why don't you grab a cup of tea, or maybe a latte, and an almond patty, get comfy, and be ready to be wowed. On behalf of the Queen's Committee, the elected court, and myself, we want to thank you for joining us. Your support, whether you are a family member, friend, or community member of both the festival and of these young ladies, is very much appreciated. The resilience and flexibility shown by these women this year is inspiring. These young ladies are creative and talented, and any one of them will make an amazing queen and ambassador for our city. Together as a team, these girls will play a huge role in advertising and promoting our annual Tulip Festival. They travel to various media resources, they participate in interviews, and they create a roadshow to be shared at many different locations. Additionally, they represent Orange City in many area parades. Trust me, these young women are an important resource for our city. My name is Beth Ullman, and I've been honored to co-MC with last year's Tulip Festival Queen, Miss Maddie Mulder. I've been teaching at MOC Floyd Valley 8th grade English for 32 years, and I also serve as an adjunct at both Morningside College and Northwestern College. I'm married to Terry Ullman, and we have two sons, Colin and Cameron. In my free time, I enjoy cheering on the Vikings, well, not this year, but usually, and Dutch volleyball. I also enjoy time at our cabin in Minnesota. At Tulip time, you might hear me announcing a mode show or a parade. I now want to introduce my co-MC. Miss Maddie Mulder was crowned the Orange City Tulip Festival Queen just 1 year ago. Welcome home, Queen Maddie. We are so excited to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been up to personally?
I would love to. This past year, I started at the University of Sioux Falls, where I'm studying Spanish education. It's been a little bit of a different year, but still a lot of fun. Just being able to be there, meeting new people, and having new experiences has been something that I would never give up.
Thank you so much. Now it's time to welcome our first candidate. Please give a warm welcome, or in your home, you can do a little clapping, Miss Grace Dahl. Hello, Grace.
Hello.
Would you please share a little bit about yourself?
My name is Grace Dahl. I am daughter to Rick and Amy Dahl. I have 4 older siblings. Their names are Eli, Josh, Matt, and Abby. I am a senior at MOC Floyd Valley this year, and a couple of the activities I'm involved in are marching band, jazz band, concert band, orchestra, speech, National Honor Society, student council, and I'm in soccer, football, and wrestling cheer. And I am a violin teacher. I have 5 students. Next year, I am not sure what my plans are 100% yet, but I do know I want to go to a 4-year liberal arts college.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, we have a few questions we'd like to ask you. The first question has been written by the Queen's Committee. So I'm going to ask you to draw a number out of Queen Maddie's basket.
I got the number 1.
Number 1. Thank you. Question number 1 is, what is one thing that most people don't know about you?
There's one thing most people do not know about me. I feel like I talk about myself a lot, so I feel like people know a lot of interesting things about me. But when I was younger, maybe people know this, I tell this story all the time. I had a tree house in our backyard, and I really enjoyed dancing. That was my thing. And we had a trap door in this tree house, and I'd gone up there by myself, which I wasn't allowed to do. And I had been dancing, and then I fell through the trap door and fell out of the tree house, which was like 10 feet up. And that didn't just happen once, but it happened twice. And the second time, my parents weren't home, and I ended up like throwing up afterwards, and I had to go to the hospital. And so, yeah, I am very clumsy, so maybe people do know that, but that story they might not know.
Well, thank you very much. The next question, you'll get 2 of them. They were each written by Queen Maddie and me, and they are kind of little impromptu questions. So this one is, if you woke up tomorrow morning and gained one ability or quality, Which one would you pick? What would you want it to be, and why?
If I could have one ability or quality, I think I would really enjoy to be able to play the piano like really well. I can play like chords and church music right now, but I think it would be such a fun gift to be able to just perform really, not just difficult music, but really expressive music. And because I know music is a great way to like meet people, and it's a it crosses the barrier of language sometimes. And so I think the ability I wish I could like wake up with would be being very, very good at piano.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And my question for you, Grace, is if you had the power to build any business in Orange City, what would it be and why?
If I could build any business in Orange City, I think I would build a roller rink. I love skating. I remember when we were younger, we always had the roller rink unit, and that was always a good time, and our churches would go for fun, like Sunday night roller skating. And now I feel like I never get the opportunity to, and I think if it was in Orange City, it would bring a lot of people together, and it'd be a fun way to just spend an evening with your family.
Awesome. Thank you.
Each year, shortly after the girls are elected to the court, the Queen's Committee hosts a tea for the girls to get to know one another better. At this tea, the girls are given a question. The question is to be answered in the form of a presentation at the Tulip Queen pageant and should, in some way, promote our city or festival. This year's question, which will be followed by each girl's presentation. The presentations you are about to see are all different, interesting, and creative. The Queen's Committee did a fantastic job of coaching the candidates and serving as the girls' advisors. This year's scenario given to the girls is as follows. In 1907, a bolt of lightning struck and destroyed the pinnacle at the top of the Sioux County Courthouse. A 10-foot bronze statue named Lady Justice replaced the pinnacle at the top of the courthouse. Lady Justice has observed 79 tulip festivals in her lifetime atop the courthouse. Each member of the court has been asked to describe a particular decade of the festivals. The 1950s brought growth to our community and a renewed sense of security. Here, as Lady Justice, is Miss Grace Dahl.
Hello, my name is Lady Justice. I live on top of the Sioux County Courthouse in Orange City, Iowa. I moved up there in 1907, and my job is to fight for and protect justice. I could have lived on any courthouse in the country, but I chose Orange City. At first, my fellow Lady Justices poked fun at the fact that my town is surrounded by cornfields, but here I am over 100 years later, more content than they could have imagined. But Orange City was pretty quiet those first few decades. You see, I wore a blindfold. It is a symbol of my unbiased opinion, and although I stand proudly behind that quality, it was a bit inconvenient at times. I couldn't see Orange City. All I had to rely on were sounds and smells. Luckily, Orange City followed a very predictable rhythm about it, and rarely was there a sound or smell that compelled me to take my blindfold off. But in the year 1936, a strong scent reached my heights. I could not figure out what it was, and so I must confess, I cheated a little bit. I tilted my head back to see what all the fuss was about, and from there I could see crowds surrounding flower beds filled with thousands of tulips. They were deciding who had grown the best tulip. They called it the Tulip Festival. And every third weekend in May, for 2 days after that, the town would continue this new tradition. I will never forget the Tulip Festival of 1950. There was just something in the air that year. The sounds and smells seemed to be calling me by name. I had to keep telling myself, Lady Justice, you can resist 2 days. For 2 days, the town will go back to normal after that. On Saturday, you'll wake up and everything will be quiet again. So Saturday morning, I woke up to the sound of birds chirping, and I sighed a huge breath of relief. I'd made it. But then I heard water being dumped out of buckets onto the street, and cleaners began scrubbing. A third day? The Tulip Festival, for the first time ever, would go on for a third day in the year 1950. At that point, I made the decision it was time to take my blindfold off and truly experience the event around me. So I hesitantly and slowly unfolded my blindfold. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that the that had been surrounding me for years was more beautiful and clean and full of more Dutch heritage than I could have imagined. So I stepped down from my post and started to walk along the streets. I passed people of all ages dressed head to toe in authentic Dutch costume. I found a seat to watch the parades as the scrubbers finished cleaning, and float after float passed by of children smiling and waving. I'd heard their laughter for years, and I was finally able to see their shining faces. After the parades were done, I made my way down to Windmill Park, and there I saw 7 young ladies standing on the bandstand shell stage. And right as I settled in, I heard the announcer boom, "Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our 1950 Tulip Queen, Rita Van Oort." Everyone applauded as she walked across the stage in a white gown where she received a large purple robe on her back. After all the festives were done that day, I made my way back to the courthouse. The smell of puff cheese and stroopwafels still lingered in the air. 1950 was a phenomenal year, and the rest of the decade lived up to that Saturday's adventures. In fact, in the next year, 1951, the only usable street organ in the whole country made its debut downtown Orange City. The people called it a little bit of Holland. The rest of the 1950s, I got to watch performances given in the town hall, ranging from Red Mill to Sweethearts. I walked along the same street as professional wooden shoemakers from the Netherlands, baton twirling champions, and generations of local Orange Cityers, who took every step with pride of their clean and beautiful city. I was so grateful to be part of the Tulip Festival, and since then, I can't resist coming down every 3rd weekend of May. My name is Lady Justice. I live on top of the Sioux County Courthouse in Orange City, Iowa, where I proudly reside.
Thank you.
Well, you did a wonderful job with your presentation. We are so thankful. Our last question is, what does Tulip Festival mean to you?
When I think of what Tulip Festival means to me, a word comes to mind, and that word is special. And that's a word that's constantly evolving in its meaning. When I was in kindergarten or elementary school, it was special because of all the rides and the floats and the carnival food. In middle school, Tulip Festival is special because of the freedom you get to experience with your friends for the first time. In high school, it's special being part of the legacy of the Pride of the Dutchman Marching Band. And now, Tulip Festival this year is special in a totally new and exciting way to be part of the Tulip Court. And even now, months away from the Tulip Festival, I am learning how many people have to put so much time to make this happen. And I've come to this realization that I live in a community that doesn't just appreciate its history, but is inspired and built off of that history. And not every community has that, so I'm very grateful for that. So Tulip Festival is special to me, and it's constantly growing richer and deeper in that sense.
Thank you very much. Well, this wraps up our interview with Miss Grace Dahl. Thank you.